Hey there, welcome back friends. Today we will try to understand how to handle a scenario where a session is disabled for a web browser. In order to understand this, firstly let us navigate to a Google Chrome web browser, and in here let us navigate to our application. Here we go. Let us try to log in, and here we go. Our application works perfectly. Alright, now friends, if we navigate to settings and we try to disable cookies for the web browser, what happens then? Now friends, in order to see the impact, first of all let us close the web browser. Sometimes setting doesn't apply on the web browser real quick, so now we are confirmed that the setting should have been applied. Alright, now friends, when we visit this URL now, there is this icon, and if we hover upon this icon, it says this page was prevented from setting cookies. So we are 100% sure that the cookies will not be in use. And now if we try to log in, the impact would be we are not able to see the member area page, right? Now friends, the reason why we are showing you this, because there could be some web browser where cookies are not supported. And again, there could be some web browser where cookies are disabled for example, security reasons. Alright, so there could be a scenario where cookies are not available to you. In those kind of scenario, your application will not work properly. Now, what is the solution of it? Now, the solution is to encode the URL. Now, what exactly this encoding means and how this is a solution is something which we will discuss in a minute. First of all, let us check how we can encode the URL. Now friends, if we check our site controller, here is the method authenticate, which is authenticating our form, and based on the form information, we are redirected to either login page or to the member area. So here is the line where we are doing the redirection. Alright, so before this line, let us add in yet another statement. So we will take help of a string variable. We will give the name as encode, and we will initialize this. In order to get the URL encoded, we will take help of a method by the name of encode URL. Here we go. And to this parameter, we will pass on this particular part, which is getting the context path. Now, what is the context path? Context path will give us the base URL, right? The homepage URL or your domain name. So this particular domain name would be now encoded, and this would be encoded by attaching a secret session ID if required. Now this secret session ID is what? Our own session ID. Now session ID is kept inside our cookie. Now if the session ID is not inside our cookie, then definitely session ID can be taken from URL as well if we make use of this encode URL method. Now this is a little confusing though. Let me give you a demonstration of it. First of all, let me fix this code a little. In place of this particular part, we will simply make use of this variable encode, and our work should be done. Alright, so Tomcat is up and running. Let us navigate to Google Chrome, and now let us try to log in. First of all, let us refresh this page. Alright, so if we try to log in now, something magical will happen. Even though we are not able to set or get the cookie, we would be able to log in. Now the reason why we are able to log in is in the URL. We are able to see the session ID directly on the URL. Now this is the magic. The session ID would be available on the URL if required. So in here, our application will smartly check whether the cookies are available or not. And if the cookies are unavailable, then session ID would be encoded on your URL itself, and our application will still work. Now, for example, I log out and manage this particular setting and allow cookie for this particular website. What happens is, this time the URL will not show up the session ID. Let me show you. Here we go. So now the URL is cleaner. So this particular use of encoding the URL is a best practice. And whenever you code your application, it is a good practice to make use of this particular convention where we encode the URL and then pass on the context path and then finally create the complete URL. So this is something which is a good to know information. Alright, so there are like multiple URLs, you can definitely make use of this convention where you firstly encode the URL and then use the encoded URL, which is up to you. You can experiment, you can try it out, and you can make this application even better. So this is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.